Okay, are we live? Are we live? We live? Are we live? Looks like we're live. We might be live. It looks like we're live. Hello everyone. This is we are being recorded live in Arlington, Vermont, and this is Happy Valley Hobbies. I'm Mr. Katie, and these are hobbies that make me happy. And tonight, not quite sure exactly what specifically. Still working on basically the. That's not exactly what I wanted. Very much still working on. All right, there we are. We're still working on the ever so fun and popular covered bridge. I'm almost to the part of finishing up the roof section. But, almost to the end here. One thing, we're to the point where I have to trim some of this, so it's not exactly top of things. And trim this off to make it much closer to top. Hello there, Anthony, and how are you this evening? So that is a little too much. Is a other side. Plan is to finish I'm doing okay. Thing is, my workplace has a habit, so we actually work 4 days, 10-hour shifts. So today is my Friday. We have been having a sort of a mandatory overtime for a while, but tomorrow is casual. It's called casual overtime, and Last week was also casual, but we only had there was only 3 employees for the production line, which was myself, my immediate boss, both in shipping, and then there was somebody cutting fabric, and that was it. It's like it was sort of like it was like a ghost town. I mean, the only people that actually showed up in numbers was office people, and uh, some of the office people have normal 8-hour days, 5 days a week. So they were going to be there anyway, but the place was pretty quiet, and we were only there because they scheduled a truck to come in, and the truck sort of kind of showed up a little on the late side, which was a little annoying, but actually wound up getting out there a little later than normal for what the amount of time that we would like to have gone out. But it is what it is, so that's how it is. Yeah, I would have to say mandatory overtime is a hypocritical statement. Yeah, and well, the thing is that they were, they're far behind on their orders. Combination of uh, not having enough employees and supply chain issues. And it was up until April until they got relatively closer to their goals and all that. But there are times that they still have problems with the supplies. And in some cases, we have a lot of supplies on some things, and it's like we don't have the room to put it anywhere. But at the same time, it's like we can't. There's no place to put stuff, but at the same time, there's not enough to have it uh, have it be able to go out. So go that direction with that. All right, I'm going to need 3 more of that much. These I wound up cutting a little bit lower, but that's okay because that's not here. Actually, let's go this direction. So there's a little bit more accurate cutoff. But and one of the interesting things is that since it's a company that makes mattresses and we supply hospitals, it is considered a essential company. So they didn't really close uh, for the pandemic. It kept things going, and I guess early on the virus went through the company real quick in the beginning. But there are still some people that are uh, mostly not everybody's wearing masks, but there are some people that they're they are wary and they do wear masks. but mostly people do not. Then again, Vermont is one of the states that has the, I'm not sure if it's true anymore, but Vermont did have like the lowest number of cases for the longest time. Oh, that is correct. Today is your official last day. Well, congratulations. And of course, the thing is, I can never understand. It's like, they call it retirement. But the thing is that re means you're doing it again, usually in English. So I'm not quite sure where they get the retirement from. It should be, I would think it would be just tirement, or instead of retirement, unless there's a different reason for having a re in the front. My sister's the English major. She might actually know. But then again, Anthony, you might know also exactly why it's called retirement. Uh, yeah, last night I was actually in the process of thinking about watching Sparky's live stream, because normally I'm watching New Tracks Modeling, and surprisingly, Sparky didn't have anything on. So it seems that people who normally watch Sparky wound up on New Tracks Modeling, because there was a lot of people there, and I was surprised. I have very few friends that actually have had the same career path um, similar to yours, Anthony, where they've been at the same job since they started. Most people that I know, like myself, I mean, I have rarely been able to stay. I think my longest job I've ever been at has been like 3.5 years, and then that particular company wound up moving from Guilderland, New York, to uh, somewhere in Maryland, and it's sort of kind of interesting because when I got hired, uh, before 3.5 years before I got fired, they had a problem. They were talking about there was an issue where there was like a 6-month gap between projects, and a lot of people were wondering, it says, what are we going to do in those 6 months? And that was very close to when I got fired. And before then, they were like working us like when we started getting towards the that particular setup, they were wound up working us pretty hard, and we're way behind, we're way behind, we're way behind. And then during that the Christmas party, uh, the field engine the field technicians turned around and said, "What are you guys doing?" And well, they're behind Bombardier, which was our customer at the time. Says they're apparently we're way behind way behind on orders, and they're not getting the cars out. And the technician, the the field technician turned around and turned around and told me, it says it's not with our particular company. They're having a problem with another supplier. The heating and air conditioning units that we're building, which was our company, which was well, unfortunately, they had many different names since I've been there, but they wound up trying to get the laser sight up, but they're basically saying that our products, they're putting our heating and air conditioning units out in the parking lot. It's like they're taking up parking spaces because we have so many of them, and it made no sense whatsoever of why they kept on saying we need to go, go. And then the first of the year, we turned around and all of a sudden it's like production just stopped. It's like after that, it's like yeah, whatever, we're close to the end and all that. And we're thinking, okay, it must have had to do with production numbers of trying to think what it is now. Hello there, Wigwag. And how are you this evening? Redraw or rewrite? This kit is the Hunter Line 50-foot Queen Post Bridge. One of the things is similar to look like that. I do have this portion of the bridge done, ready to go. Now, normally the bridge is designed to be roof is designed to be permanently glued onto it. However, since I'm planning on first putting this on a diorama and then be able to take it back off the diorama and put it on an actual layout, I designed to have the roof off so I can respike the track that's on it. And this is one of the issues that I am having, is that once I put the glue on there, it wants to curl. So I haven't found a good way to keep it from curling. If I do this bridge the next time with these specific tiles, one of the things that they said is not to pre-stain them. I'm thinking pre-staining might be sort of kind of smarter because they're pre-stained and they won't be curling. Because when Marine Hunter was doing this, she's been doing them so many times and all that she makes it so easy. Makes it look so easy because she's been doing it for so long. One thing I am considering, Nutrex Modeling is starting a new segment, and they're planning to have it on basically the same time right now. Now, as far as I'm aware of, there's not that many that I would have to say cross-pollinate between Nutrex and myself. But at the same time, I don't really want to step on their toes. And I'm now with my new work, with my new job and all that, I'm actually feeling more comfortable maybe doing a Friday night, because it looks like there's less people doing Friday night. But what are people's thoughts on that? Nice. Yeah, I would have to say it's a very decent covered bridge. One thing I wound up asking about, and had I realized this beforehand, is that I know with road bridges, I actually am near three. I want to say there's two bridges. One's in East Arlington and one is in West Arlington. East Arlington is, I want to say, less than a mile, close to a mile away. West Arlington might have been 2 or 3 miles away, but they're painted. And I went and asked, did they do the same thing with railroad bridges? And apparently, it depended on depended on the prototype and the financial purposes for the for whatever railroad, because apparently at the reason why they did the covered bridge was to make the bridge last another extra 10 years, and by painting the wood, that extended the bridge life another, I think he said, another 5 years before they would have to turn around and do major replacement. So I would have painted this instead of staining it. But I mean, it's still. I mean, it's still there. And one thing I didn't ask is that obviously they would paint the outside, but I don't know if they would paint the inside. That's a question for I think an email, because I don't think they're. I didn't see them on the last show. But that might be definitely a different question. All right. Well, I thank you, Anthony, on that input. But you are right. It seems that because of the pandemic, there is a lot of Uh, there is many different live streams that are out there, and I'm going to wind up stepping on somebody's toes. Another reason why I'm thinking of changing times is that when I started this back in, I think it was uh, end of end of February, or end of February, no, end of January. And this time slot, it's dark at that time. Now that we're coming up to the summer solstice, it is now for the, I guess, the talking head camera. The sunset is behind the camera, and it winds up throwing things off a little bit. So that's another reason why I'm thinking on moving it. So I'm not sitting there with a sunset in my face. But doing it on Friday, seems that there's not many in this group that does Fridays. Then again, Fridays is also I think it's opened up mainly because, well, a lot of people do different things on Fridays. I know my local NMRA club has a tendency to do stuff on Fridays or Friday nights, so yeah. YouTube loves consistency, and I've been consistency at on Fridays or Thursdays, I should say. This direction. Another thing I need to contemplate on doing is recording stuff and doing stuff along those lines. Doing live streams is sort of easiest because there is no editing involved. You just throw it out there and see what happens. At the same time, I'm looking to see about doing maybe something a little bit more. Well, when things are recorded, I guess they're more scripted. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Wigwag. I'm trying to think who else does building on live stream. I think Keith is the only one I could think of off the top of my head from Humanity Junction. Trying to think who else is there. I know. Let's see. Oh, trying to think now. Benny. Uh, I don't think he. I don't think he really does anything live stream specifically. And he does live streams, but I don't think he builds on live streams. But he does show things that he's worked on. Well, New Tracks Modeling does have their build-alongs, but they're not the I want to say the start of the show or star of the show. So you basically working off of the information that I got from Wigwag. It sounds like a smart idea to keep the live stream building going along, and also sort of, guess, motivation to keep on doing stuff. Okay, so at least another one of these. I think I don't think he was doing them live, but there was also Dan's model railroad journey. Somebody else that was doing building his layout and his journey on going for his MMR. That's what I forgot to do the other day. Did everything else but glue. So I'm getting towards the end of the bottle. Or at least with this very cheap PVA glue. Now, one of the things I'm going to see about doing is actually getting like their smallest little bottle, and then I turn around and buy extra glue after that. Turn around and buy the bigger bottles and just pour them into the smaller one. It winds up, I believe it winds up being better for the glue because it doesn't wind up, the big bottles don't wind up slowly drying out over time. One more of these. And one thing I like about the Hunter line stuff is that they do give you extra stuff. So basically, if you wind up messing up, then you don't have to worry about ordering just one extra piece and all that. Which in my case, with when I did, I guess the uncovered bridge version, I actually made it a little. I think it's like 52 feet or 54 feet because I had extra parts in order to do that. Initially, I tried to do it with the covered bridge, but wound up breaking some pieces. So it wound up being, well, I guess it's going to be 50 footer. I would say the only thing I wish I had with this bridge is longer clamps, because I got a bunch of clamps and all that, but they don't have a deep enough throat to get to the peak of the roof. Okay. One thing is usually not talked about is, it's always talks about, having a sharp number 11 blade. But the thing is, they don't talk, usually there's not talk about the different styles of blade. Like this is a chisel blade, which I believe is the 17. Could be wrong. But as you can see, it's a lot easier to chop down on it than trying to sort of go this direction. But one thing I might have to do is very annoyingly upgrade my computer because it winds up the main screen when I run Zoom has a tendency to flicker all the time, which at first I thought it was hurting something, the stream and all that, but apparently it is not. But that's also telling me that because it's flickering, is that it doesn't have, it's starting to not have the power to start doing other stuff. All right, that is, instead of having the clamps, been resorting to using a technique where when I first heard about it, it was basically taking basically beans and using them as weight to weight things down. I, on the other hand, I'm planning on using this particular gravel for the riverbed, because interesting around the southwestern Vermont, there's a bunch of marble quarries. And the interesting thing is that the rocks around here are more this color. So here you have a stream that's more tan than a more traditional dirt color. In fact, let me see about snagging. Just have a rock around here. But as you can see, this is what the color of rocks that we have around. Jeez. The rocks themselves are much whiter, but in the streams they wind up looking more this color. Not sure why. I haven't actually gone down to a riverbed to find out exactly what is the actual color of the rocks. But a lot of the dirt around here is a little more on the. You seem to be more on the tannish side. So the combination of the white marble rocks in the stream winds up being done that way. But one of the plant, basically what I need to do now with this bridge is basically turn around and put weathering mix on the roof tiles. Haven't quite figured out exactly what color it is yet, because from what I understand that they would paint the sides of the bridge, but the roof they're made out of where I think these would be. Well, I think the frame would be oak. The siding is possibly pine or so. It's not a hardwood because there's no support. But the roofs themselves are cedar, unpainted cedar. Interestingly enough, because apparently cedar is a lot more weather resistant. Why it's not actually put on the entire structure, I don't know. But yeah, it's basically cedar. The roof is out of cedar shakes. A type of softwood like pine for the sheathing. It would be here, and then the oaken or other hardwoods would be for the actual bridge itself. Whereas there was on a normal uncovered bridge, that's the whole thing would be out of whatever hardwood, oak, ash, something else. That's what that bridge would be built as. And then so I was right. Number 17. Well, it looks like Wigwag and Anthony is having a massive conversation that I am not paying attention to. He's quit doing live builds. Okay. I thought he was doing it. I forgot about your nerve damage, Anthony. Now that you mentioned, it's like, oh, that's right. Yeah, I know there's when it comes to Friday, yeah, I know there's Vinny BNSF, BNSF. But I know there's one. Steve Childers does, I believe, 11 a.m. in the morning. It was a slot that Heath was doing when he was not working. But when he got employed, it's one of those things of, well, I can't do that anymore. And Steve Childers picked that one up. But I'm still working at that point. If I am working on a Friday, I'm working until noon Eastern Standard Time or daylight savings time, depending on which time of the year it is. And it's about approximately a 15-minute drive from work to home. It's about 9 miles, depending which direction I'm going. And yeah, I would have to say Wigwag is that doing live builds is sort of kind of interesting me. Time for dessert. Will you bring enough for everybody? Uh, I would have to say, I know a lot of ones that do live streams. They usually try to have a train running in the background, something to sort of. Uh, I forgot what the terminology is called, but it's basically to keeps, it's like, ooh, there's something moving in the background. It's same thing like, adding music and a lot of other stuff that I am not able to do. Because you're seeing the edge of my half. You're seeing the middle edge of the layout that I have. It's only 8 foot long, foot and a half wide. Right now, I'm trying to fix uh, they're remote switches, but they're not remote switches that you normally think of. They're actually manual, and actually, they're actually a manual switch that goes underneath, and this is going to be able to. Well, this doesn't have a. It's not glued on yet, but this is so it can be adjusted. So if it's far away from the front, I can get there, or if it winds up being near the front, then I can go that direction. Initially, I would just drilled a hole so the doorknob can fit through, but then have to realize that when it's flush, I can't grab the sides of it. So basically, I cut the doorknobs, sort of kind of, trimmed off the things on there so I can actually grab a hold of it and pull it in and out. And that's where I am with that. And then another thing I'm planning on doing, which I wound up buying, I'm planning on handling stuff. So I bought a Fast Tracks Fast Tracks jig, but the point former, the stock rail. Originally, I was just going to do all stub switches because I'm doing the 1850s, but apparently the Civil War era had a lot, still had a lot of the stub switches, but they were just starting to, in some cases, the modern point switch that we know today was just starting to get popular. So in my era, pretty much all the mainline switches would be point style switches with maybe yard tracks or switches that are not used that much still being stub switches. So, and my plan is right now is to do I have 1, 2, 3, 4, well, total of 7 switches. 4 of them which are on the main line. I'm going to do them with solid points. I got two of the switches I'm planning on doing with the hinge, and I have one is going to be a stub switch, which is going to be sort of like off to the yard. So with one jig, I can turn around apparently make 3 different styles of switches. And I do have the PCB ties, which I'm surprised that they actually have them on double-sided, because you're not really soldering the other side. So why they went that direction? Why they didn't go single-sided, I don't know. It would be, in my thought, would be cheaper. And of course, I also have the turnout ties. So this should give me a way for doing all seven. I did sort of the cost analysis on it, and doing hand laid tracks with the fast track setup actually gets more economical after 8 switches. I got 7, but at the same time, I'm also thinking of if I do wind up expanding, I already got this. I already got the stuff, and plus, it's something that I want to learn on how to do your own turnouts. So that's why I went that direction. All right. So, well, I guess all I have to do now is, wait for this to dry. So I can swing swing over to the other camera. So let's switch over to this one. Now, one of the things of, even though right now I have the sunset behind the camera, now that all the trees have their leaves on and all that, it's not as bad. Having the sun in my face, but there is going to be, if I keep this up, there will be always there's always going to be, in the springtime, the sun's going to be in my face. Well, especially if I am at the same apartment. I'm not sure how fall's going to be because, fall hasn't happened yet. And I've only been doing, this is only my 21st live stream. I haven't been really promoting the channel that much, mainly because the live stream was originally designed for, it's like, okay, this is something to do while I'm waiting to get employed. And of course, as soon as I start this, I think it was about 2 weeks later, all of a sudden I get my new job, and that's why I haven't really been on top of things. All right. Oh, hello there, RL artist. I did not see you sneak in. But yeah, it is one of those things of, from my understanding, with success with YouTube is turning around, picking something, and being consistent at it. With new tracks modeling, they're up to, I believe, around 600. Around 600, possibly even 700 subscribers, and they've been doing this for about over 2 years now. And there's been a lot of times it's like, it's like, how come we're not getting more subscribers and all that? And it's some people happen to hit the magic formula, some people have not. But I would have to say Jim has a much larger, or Jim Kello, MMR, has a very large, I don't want to say following, but there is a lot of people that are helping him out. Oops, sorry about this. Something got my eye. But he's been consistent. It's like, there's times that things just didn't go right, but he just kept on going, and that's I guess how it is. Some people just happen to they have a much better acknowledgement of how to do YouTube videos. Also, there's some I know there's this one YouTube channel that was basically, they started it and they're like, all right, whatever, and all that. And next thing you know, they've actually got to the point where they were asked, their old job said, hey, do you want to come back work for us? And he turned around and said, no. He was like, he was actually making enough money to make it a living. And he turned down, I don't know what the actual position was, but he turned down Disney. And I get the impression that he was making, I guess, a decent amount of money. Nothing, definitely nowhere near minimum wage. Not well, definitely not a high executive, but something where he was definitely not starving. But he turned around and decided, no, keep on this YouTube thing and see how far he can take it. And it's one of those things of, there's something that, he wound up turning around and doing something with another high profile YouTube channel that did well, so a little bit. Yes, you're right, Anthony. There's too many factors on why one channel gets big and the other one doesn't. There's a possibility you just happen to hit on something that I'm trying to think. I think it was Ars Trains where he says he just kept on doing it, and there was something that all of a sudden one of his videos just blew up and all that, and then right after that the whole channel just followed along with it. And I don't know what that specific is, but there is There is something I'm actually planning on. I wasn't planning on getting a uh, refund check from the government and all that, but apparently I was I paid too much, and they decided to say, here, here, have your money back. And so I don't want to say planning on buying a new toy, but more of another tool to add to clamps, screwdrivers, and stuff like that. But it's going to be a little bit more complicated, and it's something that I don't think I've really seen anyone do. I saw one where a YouTube channel where they're using a similar tool what I'm planning on buying, but they weren't actually showing on how they were using it. It was sort of like in the background, says, yes, I use this machine. It's like, why you're not showing what the machine is or how to use the machine, because that might wind up um, it's it's something that uh, actually someone from New Tracks actually had what I'm planning on buying, but freight costs just went to the point where it's like, yeah, you might want to buy brand new. It might, the shipping costs might be a little bit cheaper. And I've seen that at my workplace where shipping stuff has almost has overly doubled in some cases. We do mattresses, and the thing is that mattresses they're not necessarily heavy, but they're large, so they get an oversized charge a lot of times with some of the stuff. And there's things that it wound up, it's costing a lot more. So it's one of those things of we're hoping that it's, this price increase goes back down and all that, because a lot of the beds oh, okay, wigwag. 10 years, didn't post. Yeah, that sort of kind of requires you to post stuff and all that, because that, sort of lets the algorithm know what's going on. My sister actually has a channel also, but when she got married and then moved, it's like I think the last thing she posted was before the pandemic, and she hasn't done anything with it since. I almost have tempted to do a collaboration with her, because I came across something that has to do with railroad history, and one of the things that my sister likes doing is cooking. So I mean, I picked up I think I showed it last time, this dining by rail, which the back end of this is just all the different recipes from different railroads and stuff like that, which yes, you can sort of read that, or hope, possibly like that. She likes cooking, I like trains. It's like, maybe go along those lines. Well, I'm not quite sure. Started before it was Google. All right. I have another channel for shortwave scanner and ham radio stuff. Interesting. I would have to say that's what some of the, I went with Happy Valley Hobbies because I wanted to do more than just model trains, because I have other hobbies. Electronics is one of them, not necessarily specifically radio stuff. It's more digital. And well, I used to have a hobby of cycling and all that, but once I moved to Vermont, and when the shoulder for the
uh, where you're riding your bike is shorter than the handlebars that are on your bike. And oh, excuse me. And when I was bicycling before, I was in a city, so they're usually doing about 30, 35 miles per hour. But now I'm where roads are where they're doing 50, 55 miles per hour, and you're only got this much and all that. People in Vermont seem to be a little bit more cautious. They're not. I don't think they're trying to run you over like they did on the New York side of the border. But it is one of those things of when you got a tractor trailer truck blowing by you, it's like, nope. But I could theoretically go the back roads that are less well traveled and maybe go that direction. Wood turning, scroll saw, general woodworking projects. That might be that's interesting also. I inherited a bunch of woodworking equipment from my father. Have not been one is a 10ER a Shasma 10ER, which unfortunately will not fit in my apartment. It's just too large. But it would be really nice and all that, but I cannot do it in this apartment. That's why I'm going with this much small, mini lathe, which is very, very small. It's a metalworking lathe because, well, I'm planning on making model train stuff also. Cooking. Yeah, cooking seems to be a really big thing. But that's what I'm sort of, contemplating now at this point in time. Now it's actually my plan is actually to, when I buy the stuff, actually send it to my workplace because, one, they have a loading dock. So it's one of those things that go on like, instead of having it sort of outside where it could get rained on and all that, it's like, bring it inside and all that. And eventually be able to take things apart and into one-person pieces, because from my understanding, with these mini lathes, even though they're small, you should have a second person helping you. But I've seen a lot of videos where they're completely disassemblable bull, if I can talk correctly. But yeah, it is sort of a question on doing a second channel, and do you have it one specific thing, or do you have it not pigeonholed at all? That's a tough call. I mean, I myself, I'm not planning on doing all my hobbies, mainly because there's some of the hobbies that I do, like cycling. It's like I'm not quite sure how to do that specifically, and that would also require me to take the hobby back up. If gas prices hit $6 a gallon, I might be doing that. Because right, I saw something recently where they're talking about, it's like, oh, these are the gas prices, this, that, during the Bush administration. And I'm looking at it going like, yeah, there were California prices, if I remember correctly. So I don't think in where I'm living back then, I think it was, I think it was like hitting 385 or something like that. That's probably the highest it ever got. It never got over 4. But they were talking about the next psychological hurdle of, $4 a gallon. And I would have to say, I don't remember when it hit $4 a gallon. It was like 395 one week, and then it was like 420 the next. I mean, it just flew by 4. And now it's getting, starting to get close to 5. Yeah, I would have to say that's what I'm sort of, having any extra hobbies that I have would be sort of, or possibly orbiting model trains. Like with the electronic stuff, it's like if I do something along those lines, it uh, might be sort of train, closely being train related. Like getting the lathe and doing something that has to do with uh, making train parts, but then maybe making another different project and all that. But it's still orbiting model trains. That's what I have the same opinion, Anthony. It's like, why, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I haven't been at this job long enough to turn around and say, hey, I'd like to buy an electric vehicle. I play with electric trains. Can I have an electric vehicle also? Uh, Plus there's but the vehicle I'm actually looking into would be sort of camping. Uh, I want something that I could, tow a vehicle with. And I got one specific vehicle in mind at this point. But I guess they're having supply control issues, with chip manufacturing. Yeah, I would have to say there's a lot of things that are out of government control. Even though it's like, oh, the government controls everything. It's like the government doesn't have as much control as you think it has. Uh, I mean, a lot of them make it sound like the government has a lot more control, but um, I mean, if the government really had that much control, then the pandemic wouldn't have happened. It would have been, it would have been done a lot sooner. Um, if it ever actually got that big. But I would have to say the pandemic has showed that no matter how powerful the government is, it's not really in control. But well, it looks like according to Google, or according to YouTube, I should say, there are 4 of us watching. It is now 8:15. I know Third Rail Thursday is up and running, but I'm not quite sure who is the person this week. It seems that Go Via and Go Via or Go Home is a good, probably a good chance, probably the good chance to actually be the correct one. But there's also They Make It Like That and M&M Rails. So I'm not quite sure which one of those 3 they are, but that's what I'm getting ready to aim. Well, that's what I'll aim for after, turning around and actually making food for dinner. Speaking of recipes, so, well, I really appreciate everyone for stopping in. And also to Wigwag and to Anthony Dodge to their lively conversation that I probably should have stayed a little bit more on. But you know, especially the way things are lately, I think the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and then